An argument between brothers changed the fortunes of a farming community on New Year's Eve.
The people the conflict started with, their mothers are one father, one mother.
The conflict spread to parts of the Saboba district with at least 20 communities touched. This was after reports suggested some Konkombas, an ethnic group, had been contracted to unleash terror on Anufo communities in the Chereponi District.
Let me say it and make it very clear. The Chereponi and Konkombas do not fight as to who owns Chereponi land. No, that has not been the issue. The Chereponi people do not go to fight as to who is the chief, a rightful chief of Chereponi. No. The conflict only started among somebody and his younger brother over this little piece of land there that you can look at.
As the conflict raged on, properties were destroyed and people died.
People that conflict is not good. But if you are just there and people come to attack you, what can you do? And so our people were completely not prepared for this. But it looks like they have prepared themselves to attack this.
Corpses, some burnt beyond recognition, were retrieved from bushes and homes. At least 500 homes, according to reports from the Northern Region Police Headquarters, were touched.
20 bags of meat, then 30 bags of rice, soybeans 5, 27 sheep.
Security officers from the Northern Region, made up of police and military, were brought in to restore law and order. They called for reinforcements as the conflict raged on.
Well, as I talk to you now, the situation is very much under control. Where we've deployed enough security personnel to the place. We are talking to the opinion leaders from both sides, and I'm sure that within the shortest possible time, we would have nipped this in the bud.
Despite their numbers, it did nothing to end the wanton killings and destruction of property. With time, the conflict began to affect children, hitting hard on their education. Closure of schools by the Ghana Education Service became the best option as teachers and pupils abandoned their posts to safety.
For the past 2 years, the school has remained shut.
Parents were worried for the safety of their wards in the Chereponi Senior High School.
Since this conflict started about 6 days ago, most of the other people, they taken their children home, leaving our children at Chereponi. And those children, they are in the school. Are they learning? What are they doing? They are not learning facility. They don't have time out to learn. And they are there. What are they living on? So every day, these children have been crying, and there's no any way we can do. Our villages have been burned and we don't know what to do. So in fact, we need the intervention of the government to release the children immediately to us, because it's worried to us.
The Ministry of the Interior announced a 4 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew Thursday, January 3, 2019. Social activities stalled. Traders could not transact businesses as the feeder roads linking Saboba and Chereponi were blocked.
As we speak now, if you want to travel to Yendi, 90 kilometers from Chereponi, you have to go to Mango, move to Sankansi, cross to Boko, down to Bolga, to Tamale before you come to Yendi.
Why?
We are cut off from Ghana. Konkombas have blocked all our routes. Our route to our new regional capital, Nalergu, has been blocked at Konkomba communities of Naja and Tiginga. We have only one route to leave Chereponi, only to Togo.
As the telling effects of the conflict became evident, residents wondered how the situation got out of hand.
We have to know from them what is the motive for this. We don't know.
Is it about
because
land?
Where the
is it about
parcel of land is, that community has already been burned down long ago. So why are they moving forward? What is their motivation? And Chereponi land is for the Anufo people. It's not for Konkombas. Everybody has his area. So nobody should, and the Konkombas should stop that belief that every land in northern region is for them. I want the educated people to tell their people that where other people are, that is their land. And where you are as a Konkomba man, that's your land.
Since the Konkombas and Chereponi lived here over several centuries now, there have never been any conflict. This is the first time we're experiencing this.
2 villages, that's Chereponi and Achuma, was burnt down. There are also reports from home that so many motorbikes, animals, food, and even lives are lost. We have heard on different media houses from the defense minister that calm has returned to the area. As we speak, there is no calm in Chereponi. There are still fights going on. They are still burning houses and killing people.
Heads of security agencies made visits to Chereponi and Saboba in attempts to forestall peace.
The Regional Peace Committee came and held a workshop for all the chiefs here. At the end, we were to suggest what to do in order to bring peace. We suggested there should be a peace conference between Saboba and ourselves, and we asked for a neutral venue. At the end, they decided on Yendi. I said it is in Yendi that we shall be able to table any grievance that we have.
But their efforts were met with fierce resistance. Then the blame game started.
We are surprised to have the Minister of Defense visiting us at this time, after involving in a bloody conflict for almost a year now. A conflict we think that he's part of it, that he has an interest in it. So we are disappointed to have him here at this time. A similar situation happened at Nakwachi. Within 3 days, he was within a committee with our own MP who visited the scene. And it's almost a year now in the same constituency of the MP whom he visited Nakwachi with. He hasn't come here. And this is the time he thinks he wants to come and call on us.
This recommendation that I want the Defense Minister and the Northern Regional Minister to look at critically is that the government, through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, liaises with their counterparts in the Republic of Togo to stop Anufo's attackers who use the Togo side of the border to plan attacks on Konkombas in Saboba District. The security forces on the ground be stationed in Geronkuka and other major Konkomba communities, and not only in Anufo communities, as it is the case now. This will reassure Konkombas in the Chereponi District that they are not discriminated against.
When we're coming from Nalergu, we saw something that was very alarming. I never thought that this could happen in this era. We saw the military just came into the village, started firing here and there, and I was asking myself, my father has been a police CID for 32 good years. I have never seen such an action.
This is premised on allegations or bias by some of the officers deployed to the areas of conflict. There are reported cases of killings of some Konkombas by some of these security officers in the Konkomba District, the Northeast region.
The security heads refuted the various accusations of partiality during their visit.
Because resources are not unlimited, it has an effect on how we operate. And this is probably why you see the way we are deployed in some communities, and you are thinking that we are taking sides. That is not the case at all. But if there is any matter that comes to your notice and you think the soldiers are treating any part of your community unfairly, feel free to bring the matter to the front so that we can investigate.
There was relative calm for some 2 months, then reprisal attacks resumed.
We were to leave for Yendi just this Monday. On Sunday, some of my chiefs came and told me that what was happening in Nambiri and Naduni might stop us from going to the Yendi. Asked, what was happening? That the conflict had begun there again. But I told the chiefs, we'll go to Yendi.
So we are calling on the President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the security heads of Ghana, to come to our aid, to calm down nerves, to stop this fight. The National Peace Council, the Regional Peace Council, we are urging everybody. The Chokosis, Anufos, we are in open hands, waiting for any other person who will want to bring peace to the area.
The Ministry of Interior reviewed the curfew hours imposed on Chereponi, Saboba and its environs.
The committee was set up to look at the matter. It brought a report. We are implementing the report. As I speak to you, yesterday the police council met. We've agreed to establish police stations. No more just sending people there and to restore. Sending police stations there.
We should not let what happened yesterday haunt us forever. We must unite today in order to protect our land and people of common enemies. This is the only way we can develop our communities and not through wars and communal killings. Every fighter must lay down their weapons and open the doors to peace. There's absolutely no gain in fighting each other because two individuals have dispute over lands.
A bipartisan delegation to the two communities became necessary as efforts to smoke the peace pipe intensified.
Those you can find in Ghana who matter within the Anufos are part of our delegation. All those you can find from Ghana who matter within the Konkombas are all part of our delegation. If somebody is not here just because the person couldn't reach the person, otherwise every one of the Anufo leaders and the Konkomba leaders are here today in Chereponi, and we'll go to Naja to meet some of the Konkombas there and go to Saboba as well today.
Enough is enough. Where this conflict is taking us to, if we don't take our time, it will eat all of us up, and at the end of the day, we'll be a laughing stock to every person in this country.
We are not here to ask what happened, who do what. We want peace. I don't see what is the problem between Chokosis and Konkomba to go into conflict. So I kneel down to appeal to them.
Residents were ordered to remove all roadblocks during the visit by the bipartisan delegation.
If your area has a roadblock, whether it's a Chokosi community or Konkomba community, please tell the young men to remove that roadblock. In about a month's time, kids from Chereponi will have to go. Konkomba kids will have to go to Chereponi and write their BCE. If they don't write this year, you have destroyed their lives totally. The reason I'm here is because I come from this region. It's very embarrassing to us in government. When the National Security Minister wants to do briefing, Konkomba versus Chokosi, this number of people have died. How am I going to look up in cabinet? Everybody looks at it and be looking at you like this. Oh, your people are fighting again. Please, don't disgrace us because you sent us there. The people of Ghana are expecting you to do only one thing: lay down your arms.
Again, calm returned, but not for too long.
Then somewhere in March, it started again. And this time round, there was reprisal attacks, and it escalated into the other communities.
This necessitated a visit by the Vice President, Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia.
From their point of view, they want the fighting to stop. This is the words of the paramount chief of Saboba. And the same thing was repeated by the president of Koya. And they said that He wants to have a meeting between them and the Chereponi Traditional Council, Your Majesty, with yourself and your chiefs.
At least 13 persons have been arraigned before the court for their role in the conflict.
All those arrested as a result of the clashes be treated fairly and given fair hearing.
In a sharp twist of events, the Anufo and Konkomba ethnic groups resolved to give peace a chance. This decision prompted many residents who had deserted their homes to return. Umuanda Kwabna is one of such persons. She is a victim of the conflict that has witnessed the death of more than 20 persons, mainly young men in her community. Though Umuanda has returned, there is still a restriction as the curfew in her community and her district has not been lifted entirely. She has returned to the community of her birth, Naduni, but has no shelter. Although tattered and ruined, Naduni to her will forever be her home. She is hoping her children will return to school. Most people who fled the community have begun retracing their steps. But how will she and others who have returned rebuild their lives?
We are thinking of the fact that people have lost certain properties. You know, how do we resettle them? How do we reintegrate them? And how do we reconcile the communities? So the peace committees that are on the ground and reconstituted by the Regional Peace Council should be able to go to the various communities and talk with them to reconcile and to work together. Because the meaning of this is that we are working together again.
To seal the peace deal, a blood burial ceremony had to be performed. The ceremony is recognized by the Bimobes, Konkombas and Anufos.
When we met in Yendi and we had the activities lined up, we indicated that this is one of the greatest that we should do. First of all, to pacify the gods and to atone for the lives that have been lost. Then we have the fire festival being celebrated by the two factions and all other stakeholders. Then we are thinking of the demarcation of the land, which they have agreed to do.
Leadership of both ethnic groups expect lasting peace and a healthy coexistence. The West African Network for Peace Building wants systems to be put in place to reorient residents.
Beyond these are strengthening the structures that are in place. So how do we re-strengthen the chiefs, the elders, to play their roles that they have been playing? How do we strengthen the youth, and the peace committees, reorient the youth so that they can eschew violence? People have lost certain properties. How do we resettle them? How do we reintegrate them? And how do we reconcile the communities? So the peace committees that are on the ground and reconstituted by the Regional Peace Council should be able to go to the various communities and talk with them to reconcile and to work together. Because the meaning of this is that we are working together again.
As residents rebuild their lives, peace, they hope, will be lasting as the brotherliness and good neighborliness between the two communities will continue.
At the end of the glad burial, it is expected that this block will be opened for academic work to fully commence. Zubaida Ismail, TV3 News, Naduni, Chereponi District.